Good morning and welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Wednesday, August 19th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps, which are trading higher by 0.05%. The big news is SK Hynix did a big buyback, and that's really helping to stabilize the recent weakness that we've been seeing in the tech trade. Middle East tensions, they remain elevated. There are reports that the economic blockade is really creating some growing pressure inside of Iran. President Trump, he's expected to speak to the media today, along with a group of tech insiders. So there could be something there. On the economic front today, the big story is going to be the Fed's meeting minutes that are coming out this afternoon. In corporate news, IBM announced a breakthrough in quantum computing. They successfully connected modular syncretic systems, which are designed to link to hundreds of quantum chips. And that's kind of a big news for IBM. Then we get SK Hynix announcing their $28.6 billion share buyback. That's like 3.3% of its outstanding shares. OpenAI second quarter sales slowed. I shouldn't say they slowed, but they showed modest growth, when compared to Anthropic. OpenAI's Q2 revenue rose 18% to $6.7 billion, while its operating loss widened to $12.3 billion. On the earnings front, we're seeing gains in Estee Lauder, Kingsoft Cloud, Keysight Technologies, Full Truck Alliance. They're all trading higher. Then we get Lowe's, Target and La-Z-Boy giving up some gains. After the close today, we're going to hear from Bill.com, Nordson's, NDSN. Then tomorrow morning, we got At Home, ATHM, we got Advanced Auto Parts, AAP, Futu, FUTU, NetEase, NTES, Alibaba, BABA, and John Deere, ticker DE, and Walmart, ticker WMT, all scheduled to release. Okay, what else do we have going on? We got to take a look over at Europe, and we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is down 0.13%, relatively minor. Tech, chemicals, industrials, they're providing some support, while retail stocks remain kind of under pressure. In London, the FTSE is down. The FTSE is now higher. It's higher by 0.01%. This, was lower. Now it's, it's flat to higher. Financial shares are kind of weighing on the index. Commodity-related stocks are moving higher. In France, the CAC is up 0.36%. Luxury and automotive stocks are displaying relative strength this morning. Then we take a look at the Nikkei overnight, and the Nikkei fell hard. It was down 3.16% or 2,134 points, with weakness in AI-linked chip makers, financial and consumer stocks. Then we got Hong Kong, which actually was higher by 0.09%. China's financial regulators announced that mainland insurance funds would now be allowed to invest in Hong Kong's ETFs, and that's going to be done through their Stock Connect program. And that was enough to kind of, get that market to move higher. But Shanghai and China finished lower by 2.40% as that global sell-off in semiconductor and AI-related stocks really weighed on the index. And then we look at oil this morning, and oil is, it's continuing to show gains. You got WTI at $85.62 a barrel. That's plus 0.8%. You got Brent at $91.67 a barrel, up 0.66%. They're extending the gains for the fourth consecutive sessions. The U.S. and Iran have shown little indication of reaching an agreement to end the conflict and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. API data last night had a draw of 328,000 barrels for last week. This morning, it's all going to be about the EIA data that's coming out after the market opens, about an hour after the market opens today. Then we're taking a look at some stocks that have recently released earnings. And we're going to start off with ADI. Analog Devices. The stock's up 1.43% this morning. These guys beat by 11 cents on higher revenue. That was good to see. And then we got Target. Target's actually down, not much. It's down 0.61%, but they beat by $1.77 on higher revenue. And then you look at Estee Lauder, ticker EL, Aldous Larry. That stock's up 7.99% this morning. They beat by 7 cents, and they did it on higher revenue. Good to see. And then upcoming, we got a lot of earnings coming out tomorrow morning, but Walmart's coming out. Their EPS is 73 cents. Expected move is 5.18%. Alibaba, their earnings are coming out. Their EPS is $1.94. Expected move is 6.59%. In terms of economic reports today, Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations at 10 a.m. And then at 10:30, you get the EIA oil stockpiles report, the inventory report. Then at 2 p.m., this is the big one, the FOMC meeting minutes. They're going to be hawkish. You had 3 dissenters. But the inflation data picture has changed somewhat, but I wouldn't use that as a factor just yet because we'll get another Fed meeting coming up in September. And there's additional inflationary data coming out before that September meeting. So this is preliminary information. I'm not going to get too excited about it just yet. And plus, we got Jackson Hole coming up later this month. In terms of news in the tape, Apple's changing App Store terms to resolve its EU antitrust dispute. Amazon is expanding its drone delivery service to suburban Chicago and Atlanta. Google plans to stop making Pixel products in China in 2027. In Dow Jones 30 news, small batches of NVIDIA chips are permitted into China, not being widely used. So IBM, announcement was big on connecting modular crypto systems to links with hundreds of quantum chips. That's big news. In terms of guidance, Analog Devices, ADI sees Q4 adjusted EPS 386 plus or minus 15 cents. Street estimates 355, so that's an uptick. Target raises their full year 2026 EPS to 990 to 1090. Street estimate was 847, so that's a big uptick. In terms of buyback news, it's all about that SK Hynix buyback. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about our pick of the day. I'm going to go with Alibaba again today, ticker BABA. It looks okay. It looks okay, for beat, and it's really going to come down to their AI models. But the EPS is $1.94, and the expected move is 6.59%. Yesterday's call volume was 82,326 versus 47,227. That's a put call ratio of 0.57 in the sweet spot. Open interest is 145 K on the call side. What do we get on the put side? I don't have the put side. But it was both positive on the calls and the puts, which was good to see. Major brokers, for the most part, are raising price targets. But for me to get into Alibaba today, I got to expect there might be some weakness at the opening. So I'm going to say, 125.80 as an entry price, 125.80. That might be a little bit aggressive, but if I can get in there, I think we'll easily make the 1% during the day today. So that's my pick of the day, Alibaba, 125.80 as an entry. Okay, let's talk about the stocks that are hitting the tape, see if we get any hot news in the last 15 minutes or so. Honeywell appoints Hammond as president and CEO of Process Technology. ICE, global sugar market, hits record open interest. PayPal, PYPL announces new integrations with educational payment platform. TGX reaffirmed their full year 2027 share repurchasing view of $2.75 to $3 billion. Uber sells part of its Aurora stake in a block trade. What else we got? Former Meta engineer resumes testimony in that landmark trial over social media's harm to youths. Alphabet raises $3.9 billion in inaugural Australian dollar bond. General Dynamics, B of A adjusts its US 1 focus list, adds General Dynamics, removes Northrop Grumman NLC. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, let's move on to our pick of the day from yesterday. You know, I went with Zim Integrated Shipping Services. Stock opened up at $29.13, ran to $29.56, so that's kind of 1%, but I wasn't able to get in and out of it with the gain yesterday. Lost a little, but it's trading lower this morning. But Zim Integrated Shipping Services didn't work out for me yesterday, but earnings are rather positive, though. All right, traders, that concludes today's NewsWare's Trade Talk podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green today.